Welcome to The Explainer. Today we're diving into how one of Australia's biggest companies, Telstra, stared down a crisis that shook it to its core and forced it to change at a truly breakneck pace. So, just how big are we talking? Well, take a look at their annual revenue. A number like that isn't just a figure on a spreadsheet. No, it represents a sprawling, deeply complex organization with roots stretching into every corner of the country. And that leads us to the central question, right? What happens when a giant like this, with tens of thousands of employees, gets hit by a once-in-a-generation global disruption? How does it turn on a dime? How does it even survive? All right, let's get right into it. The story really kicks off in March of 2020. The COVID-19 pandemic lands, and bam, it creates this immense, unprecedented pressure test for Telstra's entire operation. It was basically a perfect storm. Think about it. On one hand, you have thousands of your office staff suddenly working from their kitchen tables. And at the exact same time, with the whole country moving online, customer calls are going through the roof. The strain was just massive. So what did they need immediately? People. Lots of them. They had to scramble to hire over 1,000 new temporary call center staff right here in Australia. They were essentially rebuilding a huge piece of their customer service while the plane was still in the air. And the response from the public? It was overwhelming. This quote from their HR executive, Alex Badenoch, really captures the moment. It wasn't just that there was a lot of talent out there, it showed just how incredibly urgent the whole situation was. Now, this number tells a really important part of the story. See, this wasn't just a hiring spree. They put their money where their mouth was, pouring over $21 million into training and development in a single year. That was a huge bet on getting their new, now remote, workforce ready for anything. So now we're looking at managing a modern workforce. I mean, you've got thousands of people at home, a flood of new hires. How on earth do you strategically manage all of that? Well, it turns out it was a pretty smart, multi-layered approach. What they did was attack it from two sides. Of course, you had the financial rewards, performance pay, product discounts, all that good stuff. But, and this is so important, they really leaned into the non-financial benefits. We're talking about genuine work flexibility, team celebrations, things that build a great culture, which is gold when nobody's actually in the office together. Okay, so as if a global pandemic wasn't enough to deal with, get this. At the exact same time, Telstra was in the middle of a massive internal shakeup. The company was splitting itself into 4 completely new businesses. And that meant their main one-size-fits-all employee agreement, poof, it was suddenly useless. So how'd they solve it? Well, they laid out this really clear step-by-step plan. They didn't try to reinvent the wheel. They basically said, look, we'll keep all the old conditions, offer some solid pay rises, and, this is key, we'll talk to the unions every step of the way. And you know what? It worked. But this went way beyond just formal agreements. They also got really serious about building a high-performance culture. They brought in a new system where it wasn't just about what you get done, but how you get it done. Are you living the company values? That became just as important as hitting your numbers. And yeah, it was directly tied to your pay packet. All right, so let's zoom out a little, because all this internal maneuvering, it wasn't happening in a bubble. Telstra was making these critical moves in a fiercely competitive market, one that was full of massive advantages, but also some pretty serious risks. And this table, it lays out their entire landscape perfectly. You see their incredible strengths, right? A network that covers pretty much all of Australia, a brand everyone knows. But then you look at the threats. You've got competitors breathing down their neck and regulators watching their every move. It's a constant tightrope walk. Now, what's so fascinating is that this ability to adapt isn't some new skill Telstra just picked up. The agility we saw during the pandemic is actually baked into their history, a story of transformation that goes back over a century. I mean, just look at this journey. They started as a government department, literally connecting a young country. Then they became Telecom Australia, then merged to officially become Telstra, and finally a fully privatized public company. At every major turn in history, they've had to completely reinvent themselves. And that's really the whole point. That long legacy of adaptation is the foundation for the resilience we're seeing today. Responding to the pandemic, restructuring the entire business, it's all just the next chapter in a continuous story of evolution. It's literally in their DNA. Which, of course, brings us to the big, forward-looking question. In a world that's changing faster than ever, with new tech and brutal competition, can this legacy giant keep evolving fast enough to not just survive, but to actually lead? Well, that remains the ultimate test, doesn't it?